By 326 BCE, the Indian subcontinent was fractured into dozens of bickering, independent states. Approaching their western border was a military machine that had never lost a campaign, the encroaching army of Alexander the Great. While a foreign conqueror knocked on the front door, the center of the country was decaying from within. The vast Magadha Empire was ruled by King Dhanananda, a tyrant who spent his days bleeding his own citizens dry with heavy taxes. A fractured nation fighting itself cannot repel a world conqueror, let alone survive a domestic tyrant at the same time. The country was facing a simultaneous two-front annihilation. A scholar named Chanakya traveled to the capital to warn King Dhanananda about the impending Greek invasion. Instead of listening, the king mocked Chanakya's appearance, ordered his guards to seize him, and dragged him violently down the palace steps. During the struggle, Chanakya's topknot, or shika, was torn open. In ancient India, a Brahmin's unbound hair was a profound symbol of stripped dignity. Standing in the dirt, he made a vow. He would never tie his hair back until the Nanda dynasty was destroyed. He had no wealth, had no army, and no political influence. To achieve his vengeance, Chanakya began codifying a system of statecraft where survival outweighed morality, replacing brute force with systematic subversion. Chanakya identified his primary operative in a shepherd boy named Chandragupta. He purchased the boy for 1,000 silver coins and began 7 years of intensive physical and mental training to prepare him for the throne. Their immediate hurdle was the Greek army resting at the border. Alexander's forces were too massive to confront on an open battlefield. Chanakya deployed covert operatives to infiltrate the Greek camps. They spread rumors that the land was cursed by local gods and quietly microdosed the Greek water supply with slow-acting poisons. At night, his spies hung terrifying effigies in the trees and created horrifying sounds to simulate demonic wrath. The Greek soldiers began falling ill and hallucinating in the dark. Convinced they were fighting an invisible, divine enemy, the army mutinied and refused to advance, proving that breaking an enemy's morale can force a retreat without a direct physical engagement. Following Alexander's retreat, Chanakya and Chandragupta launched a direct assault on the capital of Magadha. The king's massive, well-equipped forces slaughtered them, forcing the two men to flee into the forest. While hiding in a village, Chanakya overheard a mother scolding her child for burning his fingers. The boy had plunged his hand directly into the center of a bowl of hot khichdi, instead of eating from the cooler edges first. The hot porridge mirrored the Magadha Empire. To reach the center without getting burned, they had to start at the outermost rings. They secured alliances with border kings and captured the outer territories, systematically choking off the capital's resources until the center starved. Striking an enemy's strongest point head-on is often an act of suicide. Power is more effectively seized by isolating the target and dismantling their foundation from the outside in. Even with the city surrounded, King Dhanananda still possessed a final line of defense, a core group of elite generals safely locked away inside the besieged capital. To breach the walls, Chanakya activated the Vishkanyas. These were orphan girls he had raised on trace amounts of venom since childhood. Their bodies built a total immunity, while their bodily fluids became lethal to others. These assassins infiltrated the royal court disguised as courtesans. Through lethal contact, they eliminated the top military leadership in the dead of night. The dynasty collapsed, and Chanakya finally tied his hair. Maintaining this power required a grim price. To protect the emperor from assassination, Chanakya secretly poisoned his food to build immunity. Unaware of this, the emperor shared his food with his pregnant wife, Queen Durdata. As the poison rapidly stopped the queen's heart, Chanakya realized she could not be saved. He drew a sword and performed an emergency C-section on her dying body, extracting the heir, Bindusara, just as the queen passed away. Decades later, a minister named Subandhu weaponized this secret, telling King Bindusara that Chanakya had murdered his mother. The enraged king turned on his mentor, forcing Chanakya into exile, where Subandhu eventually trapped him in a hut and burned him alive. Believing he had won, Subandhu opened a puzzle box Chanakya had left for his murderer. Inside was a vial of what looked like valuable oil. Subandhu rubbed it onto his skin, unaware that it was a fast-acting contact poison. The minister died in the royal court he had tried to seize. Physical empires eventually crumble, but Chanakya proved that a superior strategy continues to function long after the architect is gone.